All right, this morning what we want to do is we're going to take the CG1 style cylinder and show you what's required to do a rebuild on it. One of the keys that we want to focus on is here in this style of cylinder where this is threaded together in the assembly process, different from a tie rod cylinder. So when you're doing the seal kit, you can easily remove the end. This takes a little more planning, but effectively it's in the simplicity of the construction. So one of the things we've done here, we've set it up where you've isolated the cylinder, we've secured the rear end here, we've provided a restraint so that we won't have lateral movement, and also you'll notice here that we have a resistance to turn in the unit as well. So we have two things preventing while we're turning the head to keep it from moving and also to keep the cylinder from sliding. Cylinders that are under 40 bore, this can probably be done in a vise with flats. There's other ways where it can be taken off. As you move up into 50 to 100 size in the CG1, one of the things that you'll have to consider is that the torque required to remove is going to be higher. So we're looking more at putting a demonstration together here that shows on those higher sizes. If Loctite is applied to the threads during assembly, there may need to be some heat applied just to kind of get a loosening effect so that we can get a breakaway. The next item after securing, you have to have a method. What we've done is utilize the foot brackets for only restraining here, but then also to create a device so that we can turn the head off. Again, with the flats here, you might be able to use adjustable wrench. As we move up on bore sizes, we're going to have to have a much more a better constructed device so that we can turn. The next item is you're going to need operator's manual once you get this unit open. Okay, and here this is going to talk about the construction of the cylinder and the items that come in. You'll also want to have ahead of time a rebuild kit. In this case, we actually have for a basic bumper style unit, but you'll have your grease, you're going to have a rod seal, you're going to have a piston seal, and then you're going to have a tube seal for when you reconstruct it. In the case here, we actually have an air cushion cylinder. You'd want a kit that would include seals for the cushions as well. So the next step is to make sure that you have some basic tools. In this case, we've got a basic hex wrench so that we can remove this assembly to get to the rod seal after. And then also we've got a device. You could use a small watchmaker type screwdriver, or you could also use like a dental pick to get them apart. So now we've done that, you see we've secured our appropriately. Grab the breaker bar, apply torque, and you can see it break free. That's the type of action that is the bore size goes up. You're going to need a more substantial bar, but you're also going to have to consider how much torque is going to be applied. You can see that we've loosened the unit now that it's broke loose, and we've brought it out, and we're going to take off our breaker bar assembly before completing it, and then we'll finish the threading off. That way we'll have access to the rod seal. Of course, what you want to do is if you have a new cylinder, make sure that you've also taken off the rod nut. Okay, so the unit's loose. I can now finish the removal of the head. See, that piece will come off, place that on our bench, and then we can grab hold, take the unit out. So looking at, you can see the unit that we have here, comparing, we've got our piston seal, wear ring at the back, and our gap here where there would be a magnet installed if this was a switch capable cylinder. In the front we have a rod seal, and then back to the construction, here we have our tube seal so that you have an airtight construction when complete. We can now utilize a screwdriver to get in here underneath the existing tube seal, rod seal. A curved device like a dental pick also works very well here. Now when I take this out, you'll note that it looks similar, but this little protrusion here, this will go towards the inside of the rod cover. Kind of get in along the edge. You want to be careful. Of course, these are coming out when we go to reinstall the new. Obviously, we won't use the same type of device. A little lip in there. Okay, so you can see the three components that we've taken out, similar to the components that will be going back in. Let's pause there. Okay, so basically we went ahead and put the rod seal in. It's probably a little bit of the trick, as you can see with the shape on the rod seal. Again, with the protrusion towards the inside, you have to kind of contort it to get it into the groove, and then ultimately work it around a little bit till it relaxes into place. So that's on. You can see we've got a good fit now. And looking at the end of it, you can see a good seal installation. All right, so we'll go ahead. Let's take our part of this process too. We applied additional lubrication that's provided with the kit into the groove so that the unit will have lubrication throughout the life. Now we can come back. We can start with our piston seal. Take that up over the top. You can use it. Just be careful not to nick it with the new seal. So get it on the smooth side. And once you get that started running around in the groove, you can see it'll follow around. Okay. So install it here. And then we'll take that unit. Let's go ahead and put this here. Actually, I'm going to reassemble that. So we'll take the tube gasket and just again start it around. If you prefer to use the tool, make sure the smooth part is on there. Take it around the item. All right. Feel nice tight fit. Carefully place it back inside. Again, when you're doing, we'll add some additional lubrication onto the unit. Place it back in, press, and maybe turn slightly to help that seal to get in. You can feel it break through there. All right, and then we have our unit started. Now, one item that I failed to do at the beginning that we want to note here now, to get a marker or even a scribe when we go to return this and you find some sort of benchmark, either a mark or in this case, here's a nice line. We could have scored it when we took it out. You can see the tube seal tightening in there, all right? And then now we have a line here, and when we go to tighten, we want to go 2 degrees beyond that. So again, in this case, I'm going to make a reference mark This is something that we'll want to have a better system in place, because that 2 degrees is going to change in length as your diameter increases as far as what the turn is. So that's it in a nutshell. From here, we take it, we'd reapply, and then torque appropriately.